Hey everyone, it's Bill from CambodiYeah. I am back and I've got about 2 months before I head back to Siem Reap to live for good. This first video is about finances, banks, all of that good stuff so you can afford to get to Cambodia and stay in Cambodia and live a wonderful life in the Kingdom of Wonder. So let's get started. The very first thing is how much should you show up with? About $3,000 to start, but a very important caveat, and you'll probably have heard on other channels over the years that people were saying, oh, just, come on over, you'll get a teaching job right away. It's no problem at all. It's so easy. They're hurting for teachers. And, well, yes, they need teachers, but so many people have showed up, including myself, including my good friend Dave. Dave does Cambodia. He just recently did a video about his mistakes when he moved to Cambodia without having an income. Make sure you have a steady income source before moving to Cambodia. This is going to fly in the face of a lot of other stuff you've heard, but I am not kidding. So many people show up, they don't find a job in time, and they end up either going home like I did, or they end up in a worse situation, being homeless in Cambodia. It's sad, actually, because there's backpackers in Phnom Penh by the riverside that are homeless. And you don't want that situation. And I know that's a bit extreme, but it does happen. Cambodia tends to spit people out who are not prepared for it. It may be a friendly, wonderful place to be, but you have to be able to afford it. Thankfully, this time around, I do have a solid writing gig, and I have a backup plan. So I've got money to move, I've got money to stay. Definitely do that. Please, I know the feeling of you just want to get there, you want to get away from wherever you're at, you want to start your new life, and you've heard all these awesome things about how easy it is, but I'm telling you, most people who do that end up not working out for them at all. If you have a remote job, if you have a pension, you have Social Security, that kind of stuff, cool. If you're independently wealthy, I don't need to tell you a thing, you're good. Your initial nest egg should be for 2 months worth of expenses, including initial expenses. I would say to be generous to yourself and really make sure you're prepared. Bring about $3,000 because your first month, you're going to have a whole lot of expenses that you will not have in the months after that. You're going to have your first month's rent plus the same amount in a deposit. So let's say your rent is going to be $250. That means you need $500 just to secure the apartment. About 2 weeks after you get there, you'll want to get your visa extension, and that's anywhere from $300 to $550, $600, depending on what you're getting. Already, we're around $1,000 with just those two things. Either, a little bit shy or a little bit more, depending on your situation. The main thing you want to do is be able to answer this question for yourself. If your income source falls through or you are not able to find a job quickly enough, what will you do? What is your backup plan? If you don't have one, then you're not being smart. Be smart. If you do want to teach, I'm not affiliated with this in any way, but it is my backup plan in case my writing gig falls through. It's a thing in Phnom Penh called AVSE, and it's a TEFL academy where they'll put you up for the first month. They'll help you get adjusted to Cambodia, answer all your questions, help you get your visa extension sorted. They'll help you with trying to find your own place as well. They'll give you experience teaching. They are also connected to the best schools in Phnom Penh, and they're the only such academy that is accredited with the Cambodian government. They're legit. If you're familiar with the channel Tom Trips Out, or even if you're not, go check out his channel. He did that program and he swears by it and he's always promoting it. Check out his channel and he can answer all your questions about it. And it's something I would recommend. And like I said, that's my backup plan in case my remote work fails for some reason. Home country banking. You want to keep your bank account open in your home country because if you're going to get pensions, if you're going to get Social Security, things like that, if you need your bank there for any reason, then you're going to need to keep that account open because, for instance, Social Security, pensions, and a lot of remote workplaces, they're not going to deposit into a Cambodian bank. So you're going to need to keep that open. That also means you have to maintain a physical residential address in your home country. As far as it goes in the States, again, I'm not affiliated with this in any way. I don't get any kickbacks, but it's something I'm going to use for myself. It's called Savvy Nomad. They've got a channel also, and they basically have a service. It's like $60 a month, and it's worth the extra expense for peace of mind, so that you have an actual residential address, not one of these services that says they're giving you that, but then it doesn't actually work with the banks. There's a lot of those, believe me. They set you up in Florida, and that means no state income tax as well. And they'll, check your mail for you. They have different tiers of this stuff. I'm just getting the basic one, just making sure I can keep my American bank open so I can continue to get paid. It's worth that extra expense to me. There's a little money hack you can do. If you're from the United States, get a Charles Schwab checking account because they reimburse global, worldwide ATM fees, unlimited amount every month. And then there's a thing you can do to basically avoid having to pay any money transfer fees or have to deal with, major difference in exchange rates or any of that. If you get a checking account with Charles Schwab, you can just go to an ATM. Let's say you have an ABA bank account. You can go there and you withdraw your money from the ATM at the bank branches and also at Anchor Market 3, probably a couple other places in Siem Reap. They have a deposit machine next to the ATM. So what you can do is withdraw your money from the ATM. You'll pay that ATM fee right then, but it'll be reimbursed later. So it'll end up costing you nothing. You deposit it into the deposit machine, and bam, within 5 minutes, you've got your money moved over, no transfer charges, and the rate is always going to be right around 4,000 Riel to $1 US, and it fluctuates in a few cents, like it's negligible. Between the time you arrive and the time you get a Cambodian bank account, you'll want to carry cash around. As you may have heard, USD does need to be in pristine bills that are undamaged. You may also have heard that financial institutions in Cambodia are now required to accept USD in any condition, which is true, but that does not mean the vendors have to. And a lot of them still won't. So most of them still won't take USD that's damaged because, then they have to go and exchange that, and they don't want the hassle, and it's their right. I would suggest using Riel over USD because it's preferred, because it doesn't have to be pristine. You're going to get change back in Riel anyway if you're using USD. So you may as well just get used to using the currency of the country that you're in. You don't have to get a USD and a Riel account. When you're using ABA Pay on your phone to go pay for things, you can make sure, and you always want to do this anyway, always make sure which currency you're using. You can switch between USD and Riel. And so if their prices are in Riel, you just switch over to that, then pay it. You don't want to end up, if it's like 4,000 Riel, you don't want to end up paying $4,000. So check that every time, make it a habit. Getting that Charles Schwab account will help immensely. I don't know about banks that do the same thing in other countries, so you'll have to check for that if you're not from the States. And one extra thing they do for you is when you need a new credit card or debit card, they will send it to you at their expense via DHL. They'll send it to Cambodia, right to you. So it's a really good deal all around. And another thing about money is you want to always, even if you're using ABA Pay everywhere, always carry at least like $5 USD worth of money around with you, whether it's 5 USD or 20,000 Riel. Always have that on hand, because emergencies happen, or sometimes you'll be out somewhere and maybe they don't have a ABA Pay option, and it's really something you want. Also, I have seen a video about a guy who took a tuk-tuk like 4 or 5 kilometers away from home. He didn't have any cash on him. His ABA bank thing was working, Pass app and all that was working for him to get to where he went. But then the app started messing up, his bank app and all that, his phone was messing up, and he had no access to any funds. He couldn't get a tuk-tuk, he couldn't get food, he couldn't even get a bottle of water for his walk home. So have some emergency money on hand. And heck, you know, even if you don't need it for yourself, maybe you'll meet someone in dire need and, you know, give them a few bucks, help them out. It would be a nice thing to do. There is one option to use a QR pay system similar to ABA Pay prior to getting a Cambodian bank account. It's called the Bakong Tourist App. There's the Bakong app, and then there's the Bakong Tourist App. 2 different apps, same bank. It uses the KHQR system like all Cambodian banks do. They're all tied into the same QR system for making those QR payments over your phone. However, fair warning, the Bakong Tourist App is notoriously difficult to get set up in the first place, and even if you get your registration on it done, it can glitch out a lot and just not work right, so use it at your own risk. You may just want to use cash until you get your Cambodian bank account. Now, as far as monthly expenses, after I've been there a couple months, I will share my personal monthly expenses. They will vary greatly for you depending on how much of a Western lifestyle you want to live. You can live for as little as $600, or you can spend $1,500 a month and go really lavish. Like I said, that's going to differ depending on your wants, your needs, your preferences, and I will show you mine in a couple of months after I've actually been there and I can give you real numbers.